Optimizing your digestive health. Hi, my name is François Aubertin. I'm a healthcare provider and I have been practicing for over 30 years. I see every day people struggle with their health, and there's really no reason for that. I believe with a proper mindset and healthy lifestyle habits, everyone can achieve and live the best and healthiest version of themselves. With this video, my goal is to raise awareness, and I know I can make a better impact by helping people like you shift their perspectives on health. Optimizing your digestive health is part knowledge, part solutions. I would like to bring positive changes in your health, and then you, showing by example, can help future generations. Digestion really starts in your head. You start with smelling the food, tasting it, you also see it, and you can hear it, like the sizzling of the bacon, and finally touch it. All these senses are important, and this is why if you prepare your meals, you are bringing more awareness of all the type of foods, whether they are carbs, proteins, and fats, from your senses to know what your body will be digesting. Your thoughts also are able to engage your digestive processes, your hypothalamus, your low blood sugar levels, and certain hormones will trigger hunger. Now, know that there isn't any craving center in the brain. If you receive messages of ice cream or potato chips, those messages come from parasitic or bad microbiota in your gut. The importance of chewing. Yes, mastication is the most important step to optimize your digestion. Chewing signals your salivary glands to produce saliva, which contains enzymes, especially those for carbs. It also allows to break down the food into smaller particles, which will increase the surface area where the digestive enzymes and the gastric juices will be in contact, and that will help their work. Secondly, chewing activates our immunity in the mouth. We have T cell helping 17 cells that will really help in the first line of defense against our bacteria and viruses that can come inside of us. Proper chewing will allow most carbs to be pre-digested by the digestive enzymes from the saliva. Studies have shown that people who eat fast and don't chew well have more digestive issues such as acid reflux, indigestion, obesity, constipation, diarrhea, and also higher cholesterol levels. Timing of stomach digestion. Not all food digests at the same time. Simple carbs will start to digest with enzymes in your saliva, and after 20 to 40 minutes, will be ready to go into the small intestine. Legumes, vegetables can take up to an hour and a half to be broken down into usable chemical compounds and fibers. Proteins will take 2 hours, 3 hours, up to 4 hours if you eat fish, for all the processes in the stomach to take place so it's ready to go into the small intestine. Fats and oils take up to 4 or 5 hours to be emulsified by the gastric lipase, and then the liver bile fats secreted by the liver and excreted by the gallbladder will convert them into essential fatty acids. So the timing is different for all types of foods when we digest. And this is why when people go to a party, if they start with cheese, which is fat, it will definitely lock the pyloric valve, something that is at the exit of the stomach, because now the body realizes, oh, I have to digest fats, cheese, and it will lock it up. And after that, if you take a piece of apple and eat that, which only requires 20 to 30, 40 minutes, it will be totally putrefied, burnt out, staying 4 hours in your stomach. The purest people will really separate their food and start with what? Digest faster, carbs, a little longer, the more complex carbs and protein, and then finish with the fats. That's one way to see it. Proper food combining will assist your digestive processes and prevent malabsorption, and may also prevent a wide range of digestive discomfort, such as bloating, flatulence, acid reflux, constipation, and many more. The worst food combining is carbs with proteins, our typical sandwich. The reason is that the pancreas is a male organ and has a harder time achieving multitasking effectively. So, since the pancreas produces digestive enzymes for the breads and also the proteins, it is preferable to consume them separately. Another one that I like to say is about melons. There's a saying, eat melons alone. Finally, in terms of food sensitivities, there are different ways to test. One is the ELIJA test, IgG, or simply by doing a month-long elimination diet. When you reintroduce the food, a symptom would be the first one would be mucus secretion. So you're having to sniffle, you're sensing that you have to clear your throat. The reason is when you are sensitive to a certain food, your body will protect by secreting mucus. It wants to wrap it up and protect you from it. Now, food intolerances and glyphosates, GMOs. It's been recorded in different testings now that some people are not really gluten intolerant. They're actually intolerant to the glyphosates and the genetically modified organisms that we're eating now. No drinking while eating. So this is one of my major recommendation. I really have never seen people drinking so much as in North America. If you travel in other countries, they will serve you a little bitty cup of water with your meals because we don't really need to dilute our digestive enzymes and dilute our gastric juices. So this is why also when you're aging and you're eating very large meals on a repetitive basis, that will reduce your stomach acids and liquids will only dilute them furthermore. So this is why all these processes that are taking place in the stomach, the acids, the gastric lipase, and then the processing, if you dilute it with sodas or iced tea, it will really interfere in how well your stomach can work. And of course, when the acids are flushed into the small intestine, particularly in the duodenum, it will burn it. It's not a place where it can receive acidic content. And there are some villi that we'll talk later that can be ruined because of the acids. So definitely drinking with meals can influence in a very negative effect your whole digestive system. Size does really matter. How much food can your stomach? In human anatomy, we say that the structure conditions the function. Anatomically, the stomach can hold at its resting phase when it's empty about 2.5 ounces. When we're eating, it fills up with blood, the muscular layers enlarge and can hold about 1 quart, which is about the size of your two fists. So if there's more in your plate, you're overstretching your stomach. And that's how physiologically, something to remember, muscles are not efficient if they are overstretched. An example of that is the biceps. If you extend your arm, you're weaker than when you are in neutral position. That's the strongest for your biceps. So just remember that an overstretched stomach will not be able to churn and do all the activities it requires for your digestion. The duodenum is the chemical epicenter of our digestion. It is the first portion of the small intestines where the bile from the gallbladder and the pancreatic enzymes come in contact with smaller carbs, proteins, and fats to complete their preparation into usable chemical compounds for absorption in the small intestines. And the proper timing in the release of the bile and the pancreatic juices is essential for the efficient absorption. This is why it's important to prepare all of our senses to chew well and also to not overeat so that all that timing is properly organized so that all the processes happen when they should. The small intestines, we have two parts, jejunum, the first, and ileum. After the stomach and the duodenum, the chyme will take about 4 to 6 hours to move through the 22 feet of the small intestines. It is where the final steps of the breaking down happens and where most nutrients, chemical compounds, are being absorbed. The internal lining of the small intestines is covered with tiny finger-like projections called villi. These villi provide extra surface of contact to allow us to absorb our foods. By the time the chyme passes through the small intestines, 90% of nutrients have been absorbed. Now that's quite efficient. The large intestine is about 5 foot long, and it is where bacteria convert any remaining carbohydrates. Also, the bacteria will convert any remaining proteins into amino acids and will produce some B vitamins and vitamin K. The main functions of the large intestine are absorbing water, ions such as calcium and magnesium, and also to absorb vitamins. It is finally where the chyme is formed into feces. The abdominal brain is our second brain. Our enteric nervous system contains as many as 100 million nerve cells that monitor our digestive system from mouth to anus. It is said to have more neurons than we have in our spinal cord. Even though the second brain, the gut brain, can act on its own, controlling the gut independently, it is actually in constant communication with the brain above. A big part of our emotions are probably influenced by the nerves in our gut. Ever had those butterflies? Yes, every day, emotional well-being may rely on messages from the brain below to the brain above. Irritable bowel syndrome, which afflicts more than 2 million Americans, also arises in part from too much serotonin in our entrails. It's regarded as the mental illness of the second brain. Your microbiota is made up of trillions of cells, including bacteria, viruses, and fungi. The biggest population of microbe resides in your gut and amounts for about 4 pounds of biomass. Other popular habitats include the skin and genital areas. The microbiome cells and their genetic material, the microbiome, live with humans from birth. This relationship is vital for our normal health. Now, the microbiota is important for our nutrition, immunity, and effects on the brain and behavior. Remember those cravings. So there are different implications of disease when the microbiota is out of balance, such as asthma, autism, cancer, celiac disease, colitis, diabetes, eczema, heart disease, obesity, and many more. Now, the quality of food we eat also impacts drastically the quality of our digestion. We used to eat food from Mother Nature, and today we eat man-made food. And in the last century, corporations took over local farming, and of course, they're driven by profitability over providing us with nutritious foods on our plates. So the food we eat today has to travel longer distances, and it is subjected to numerous processes which diminish the amount of nutrients and its vitality. Let me share 3 of these processes. First, intensive farming chemicals. We use so many chemicals nowadays to prevent the weeds from growing and affecting the crops, and also for the bugs. So the glyphosates that will kill everything that can affect what they're producing. GMO and preservatives in food is the second worst thing that we are doing to our foods. The GMOs, genetically modified. So we take what is normally given from, the creation, and we want it to produce faster, bigger. And of course, when we do that, it reduces the number of nutrients in that food. Preservatives are known, they're chemicals that will definitely ruin the digestive processes and attack our immunity. Finally, radiation is something that most people are not aware, but the FDA here in the States have allowed companies to radiate the foods in terms of protecting the microbiome of the soils, for example, the spinach that grows in California, if by any chance that spinach would get in contact, those microbiome from that spinach in California, in New Jersey, it could ruin the whole ecosystem of that state. So that's why they radiate food that crosses a state line, and they radiate food that crosses a country even more. But doing that, it's known that it reduces the vitality, kills the enzymes which are necessary to digest those foods, and reduces the amounts of nutrients. So with all this lack of nutrients and all the things that are added to the food, what can we do to help ourselves to be in better health? Well, Zenzino prepared the Health Protocol Premium. It is a 4-step approach that will balance your omega-3, omega-6 levels, restore your gut microbiome, boost your cells by providing the essential nutrients, vitamins, and immune support so that they can really work at their optimal levels. And finally, Viva, which is a nootropic substance that in our times is pretty important to be relaxed and have a good night's sleep, which will help not only digestive, but also all of our system functions. So the health protocol will really work by providing the essential fatty acids and polyphenols, which are antioxidants. Then the Xenobiotic is that prebiotic that will help to balance our gut microbiome. The Extend Plus is a multivitamin, multi-immune support that furnishes all the vitamin, mineral, trace elements, beta-glucan 1316 to support also our immune system. So an overall system to help our health. I certainly hope that you enjoyed watching this video and learned a few tricks on how to optimize your digestive health. Thank you very much.